Hi there and welcome. Today we're going to look at how you can design a clear filter button like a pro and make them go from this to this. So what we're going to do to our filter button is first of all make the text dynamic. So when I select one or more items, I want to have a text that says clear filter. If I then remove that filter, it says no filter active. I also want to change the color depending if there is a filter active or not. And then I want to have a dynamic icon as well. So I've already set up the outline of my report page. Now we need to add a remove filters button. So that you can do under insert and then you go to buttons and then you select the clear all slicers button. Position my button. And what you can see here already is that my button does have some styling applied because I am using a theme, and I really advise you to do the same. So make yourself your own Power BI theme because that's really a time saver. If you don't have a theme applied, this is what it looks like for you. So I just have the out-of-the-box Power BI experience. If you then go to buttons and select the clear all slicer button, this is your default layout. So it's not really yet a button-like style, so you still have to adjust the colors a little bit, the borders, the rounding, to make it into a shape of an actual button. But today we're going to focus more on the dynamic elements of that button. So switch back to our prepared report. And here we have our out-of-the-box clear slicer button. So what we're going to do first of all is tackle the text. So whenever I have no filters selected, I want to say no filters applied. If one or more items are selected, I want to say clear filters. So select our button, we go to the formatting pane, and then here under style we have the different options. So we'll go to the default state, and then you can see the text here. So we can either enter a value here, or we can also make it conditional. And we're going to use the conditional one to make that text dynamic, whether or not a filter is selected. I've already added some helper measures here, so I'll explain you what each of those measures is doing. The one that is the most important one to make this work is this measure. So whether a filter is active or not. And what it's going to do, it's going to see if on my fact table, so here with my sales records, if there is any filter applied. So this is for a single table. If you have multiple tables that might be filters, so multiple fact tables, then you could also extend the if statement to check multiple tables here. So this one is going to return true if the number of rows within my sales table is not equal to the total number of rows that is available in my total data set. And this measure I'm going to use in a lot of the other ones to make it dynamic. So then we switch to the text. So I have a measure called filter button text. It's quite simple. So whenever I have a filter active, I want to say clear filter. If there is no filter, then that's going to be no filter active. We're going to go to our default state of the clear slicer button. Click on conditional formatting, then the field value, and here it's gonna be our filter button text. Select it, and then you can see no filter active. If I select one, then it says clear filter. So that is already working, but you can see that if I hover over it or if I click it, then it's gonna be different. So we need to apply the same conditional formatting to the different states. Let's do that one. And then also for our on press, that it has exactly the same behavior. This is working, no filter active. I can click it. If I hover over it, then it's working, and my button works as well. So my text is working, but I also want to change the color of the text. So if there is no filter, I want to have it like grayed out so that you can see that there is no action to be taken from the user on this particular button. So let's also make our text dynamic. It's also here under style. And then I have the font color here, and I have my conditional formatting there. I also created a helper measure with the color, and it's exactly the same logic as with the text. So if a filter is active, it's black, otherwise it's gonna be a shade of gray. Apply the conditional formatting. select field value, and then we're gonna select our measure, filter button color, and do that for all the 3 different states. Okay, so now our button is gray when nothing is selected. If I select an item here, then there is a filter active. Same here, I have a filter. So that is already working. What I now want to do is also add an icon. And we have a built-in functionality for icons. So if you go to Style, and you can go here to Icon and enable it. There is this default filter icon. The nice thing with the default icons is that you can apply some conditional formatting. So that would be an option that we can use. What you can also do is to use a custom icon. So I can go here for custom. Then I can search for an image. But the downside here is if I select a custom image, then I cannot make it dynamic. So it's going to be a static image. I cannot put it in black when there is a filter and put it in gray if there is no filter selected. So it's either picking a standard icon and having the ability to customize the color, or picking a static image. I don't want either of them. So I want to have a custom image and also be able to change that color dynamically. So I'm going to disable that icon and do a little bit of a workaround. What I have done is I have created a measure that is going to contain my icon. Let's open that measure. And here there is an SVG embedded, so that's code to render an SVG image that has my filter icon. And I made it a little bit dynamic in 2 ways. One is the color. So here you can see that my filter button color is also included. So that's the one that we used to change the color of the text. I'm reusing it here to change the color of the SVG image. And then the second part that is dynamic is the cross. So I have a filter icon and then a cross next to it. If I have selected one or more items, then I want to display that cross. If nothing is selected, then I just want to have a simple filter icon without the cross. So we can take a look at how that image looks like. For that, I'm going to use the new card visual. Add the visual to our report canvas, and then I'm going to add my icon clear filter to my card. That's done. Go to the formatting. Actually, I don't want to display it directly here, so we're going to go to callout values. We're going to disable the values. I'm also going to disable the label. So now it's completely empty. Okay, then we're going to go to images. Make sure that you have the series icon clear filter selected. Enable the image. And then we're going to pick image URL. Use the conditional formatting. And then we're going to select our icon clear filter measure. Field value, all data. And then I have my icon clear filter here. I can select. And then you can see my icon is already being rendered there. So it's quite a small icon, but I can set the size here. So if I put it to 20 pixels, then you can see my icon is becoming a little bit bigger. Let's maybe put it to 25. So that is looking perfectly fine. And then I'm also going to make sure that I have removed the background there. I'm going to go to General, Effects, make sure that my background and my visual border is off. And now I have my icon being displayed here. If I now select an item, then you can see that my icon changes. If I unselect it again, then I get my gray icon. That we're gonna put here on top of our button. Let's position it a little bit, that it's right in the middle. Let's increase it a little bit. Yeah, something like that. Looks good. So I now select it, then my icon changes. When I have here no filter active. Okay, so this is working, but what you can see now is that if I hover over my icon, I'm not able to clear the filter like I was able if I hover over my main button. And also the hover effect is not working whenever I'm with my mouse over that card visual. So I actually want to place it below my button. I'm gonna go to my selection, and I'm also gonna make sure that I arrange those two items here. So I'm gonna select them and put them into a group. Call this group my filter button. I have my card visual, which is my filter icon. So I'll call this card filter icon. And then I have my button here, button clear filters. So I have those two in there. Now I'm gonna move my button up so that it's always selectable. So that's good. But now my icon is not visible anymore. So select our clear filters button. Like this one. Then we're gonna go to the formatting of that button, go to the style, and then we're gonna remove the fill. So now I can hover over my button and the complete surface of my button is clickable. Of course, I would like to have it white as well. So I'm gonna add a button behind it just to mimic that same effect. I'm gonna go back to insert, buttons, and then a blank button, which is just gonna be a placeholder. And then I'm gonna make sure that the size is exactly the same as my clear filters button. And now my complete button is clickable. And then if I select any of the items, I have my black icon and my black text. And this is how you can create a professional looking clear filter button and level up your Power BI reports. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.